Okay, so it's Sunday, October 24th, the morning after another night of racing, and after getting my butt kicked again. I know I'm not doing too good on the tree, so I got a lot of practicing to do there. There's not much racing left in the season for me to get some actual seat time, but I do have a practice tree, and Crystal she's been after a squirrel or a cat for a long time. Every day she goes up there and acts like she sees something. But just want to give a little briefing before I show the videos. The only changes I made to the car were very small. Didn't make no difference, and I didn't think that they would. I moved my fuel pressure fitting, which goes to the fuel pressure gauge, up to here. I did have it there, and the gauge still kind of bounces, but it just does not go below 6. So we've fixed a fuel pressure problem. That gauge is going to bounce, and I've talked to other guys who have similar setups, and they said wide open it does do some bouncing, but the good news is it don't go down to 4 like it was doing, so that's fixed. I also found out while I was cleaning all my contacts under the distributor and I rode the engine over by hand with a wrench, I found out that my bolt for the harmonic balancer was coming loose. Lucky for me, this balancer is kind of a press fit and not a loose slip fit, because when I went to turn it over with the wrench, the bolt turned. Of course the engine did not, and I gave it, I don't know, it was probably 1 or 2 full revolutions, and luckily since the balancer is not a loose fit on the crankshaft, it was kind of coming out with the bolt and keeping the bolt from being super loose. It was kind of pushing against the bolt, keeping it from coming out. So I tightened that down. That made no difference. I was kind of curious if it could cause the bottom timing gear to walk on me and maybe make the engine lose a little horsepower, but it ran exactly the same. The car was consistent. The track was terrible, and the reason I believe it was terrible is they had the Friday night before, they had what they call a Friday night street car shootout and some outlaw cars, and I think it was no prep, and that really tears the track up. And I didn't really feel it in the first time run and the second time run, but in the first and second round of eliminations, which is all I went, I felt a buck and the rear end did a little bit of dance. But surprisingly, the car ran the numbers. It was very consistent, not counting the first time run. And in the video, I edited it with the captions, or in the description of the video or whatever. I edited that the car pushed through, and what that means is when I'm holding the brakes after I stage the car and light up both bulbs, I'm holding the brake tight and I give it a little gas and I push it up against the converter. I usually bring it up to about 2,500. And as soon as I did that, the car moved forward, and that screws you up on your reaction time. And if you push it far enough, it can either cause you to red light, and if it's bad enough, it can actually affect your ET. It screws up the mile per hour rating and the ET. So that's why I said throw that first time run in the trash. Second time run, 659. Now this car, even though I've got it consistent, there is still a 1/10 of ET missing. And the reason I say that is because when I go back and look at my videos, even after I rebuilt the motor, I was wondering, did I do something to change it and slow it down? Even on the first night that I ran this car, and it was about like it was last night, if I remember right, even though it was early in the year, the car went a 646 or a 647. This car used to run 640s, and when the air got good and cold, and if the altitude was good, the car would dip into the 30s at this weight. And before I added weight to it, it would run in the 20s. So I'm still missing a 10. And that's why I've been changing all this stuff, trying to find something wrong. If you think the car seems to run well as it is, well, you gotta know that, you gotta remember that this exact same setup was quicker. So I'm trying to find that, and it can be very annoying to find something like that. But what I'm thinking is, after I rebuilt that engine, the only thing actually different from not counting new rings and new bearings and gaskets and all that stuff in a home job, the only thing different is the converter, because I dropped my other torque converter and damaged it, and I went ahead. I couldn't get a hold of a guy locally to repair my old converter, so I ordered a new converter through PTC. If you go back and watch some videos, you'll see that I could put a new converter in it. And it seems like that first night, it ran in the 40s. I need to watch all my videos, go back and watch them all. But it seems like after that, the car started running 660s in hot weather, and it just seems to gradually be getting slower. And that could be due to maybe possibly the converter. Maybe the fins are flattening out and it's not fully locking up. I know my 60 foots, I used to 60 foot 130 in the 130s. Now I'm getting 145s. So something's going sour, and I'm not going to do it this year because we only got one race left if the weather lets us. So I'm thinking over the winter I'm going to get my old converter, which was made by a company named A1. I don't even know if they're still in business. But I'm going to call them up, see if they can repair my old converter and look into it. And I may possibly call someone new, I don't know who yet, to custom build me another converter and maybe go with a little more stall. On the other two converters, I told them I wanted a 4800 stall. Maybe I need a little more. I'm going to do my research, ask some questions, and try to find out what is the best converter for this car before I order and have a new one built. So anyway, I hope you enjoy the racing in the rest of this video. Hello, Crystal. And even though I'm not winning rounds, well, that's going to take time. Hopefully next year we'll get to run a full season. So enjoy the rest of the video, and thanks for watching.